had a lot of interesting, I'm not always positive experiences. In the late 80s, I was quite involved in the areas around Durban, KwaMashu and Inanda. And it was not really a great time to be, the country was really going through a lot of turmoil then. But I had so many nice friends, and it just seemed like a logical thing to do when I moved to Bloom, Well, why can't we start something? And what really I think makes there's a couple of things that make the program really, really unique, and it probably comes from these experiences in Inanda. And that's, you realize that there's such a hunger and such a passion that young people have for music, but they don't always have access. Now, so to have access, that means in the history, people would come to the Musicon and they'd have lessons, and the parents would bring them, parents would take them back. Very often parents would buy them an instrument. And that's how it worked, I think, in the bad old days. But in the current situation, there's a lot of people who want to learn. They don't have the money to buy an instrument. They might be able to have transport once in a while, but not on a regular basis. So I realized that, listen, if we can organize and provide reliable, safe transport, the kids are going to come here. And if that is impractical, then we must go to where they are.
They drove the bus to go and get us, go all the stops in the location, bring us here, we meet together, and then we just play our own thing. And then I think that's the way everything started. Then we pushed to the Buchabela, then we had an orchestra, we started playing gigs, and then we were known worldwide. We started touring in Europe, and then from there, everyone who finished school started working in the program. And we started then giving back to the community, teaching other kids, giving them the opportunity to also discover the instrument. So we just do what we learned by Mr. Guy or taught by him through all the years.
Probably one other thing which is also unique to the Free State, and that's that provincial government is really involved in this. I've said before, if government messes up, someone should hold them accountable. But we should also say, listen, if it wasn't for the provincial government, this program would not exist. And so we really have to give credit to Arts and Culture and the Free State provincial government for believing in this, making permanent appointments, because music's a long-term investment. This doesn't happen over 2 years. You have funding for 2 years, and then now what must we do with the money stopped? So really, it's a program of arts, provincial government, arts and culture, and we're able, thanks to I want to say the wisdom of arts, the people who manage arts and culture, that they made it possible to marry private sponsorships with government money. So we're doing the same thing. The government says, right, we can do this, but unfortunately we can't do that. And say, okay, fine, we can get private money that will pay for this. And then and we're trying to accomplish the same thing. It was no grand design. When some of the kids finished high school, like the Cholo Fellows and Dineo and Joppy and Gift, I said to them, what are you guys going to do? Are you going to study? What are your plans? And they said, no, they don't know. And I said, well, why don't you come teach for a bit? And then after a year, you'll have a better idea what you want to do, like take a gap year. And so they taught for a bit, and they kept teaching, and year after year, and that's also a real key to the success of the program, is because these young people who grew up in the program, they play well, they have a great relationship with the kids, they speak all the languages, whatever. And if you can imagine, music can be a complicated, trying to explain something to children. And if you can have that difficult concept explained in your mother tongue, I think you're already far ahead.
When I finished matric in 2007, I got employed here by Mr. Guy to come and teach the kids that came after us. So I started teaching for a year, and then I got called by the KwaZulu-Natal Philharmonic Orchestra to come and play as an extra player. Then I was there for 7 years. I returned back to Bloemfontein last year, August, to continue teaching what I'd learned there as a now advanced cadet. So I've been teaching here now since last year, August again.
3 fingers on A. Does it say 3 fingers on A when you practiced? It's not. 1, 2, 3, and.
I love the fact that I'm making a difference in a child's life. I like that when I look at people my age and what they are and how they've conducted themselves and you know, all of these things, I can see how violin played a major role in my growing up. So I love taking the kids and showing them all the different ways of playing, all the things they could learn from violin. I always tell them about how much we travel, you know what I mean, which is what I love personally. I would never have known that I love traveling had I not started playing the violin. I just love teaching the kids everything that I've learned and showing them the possibilities, you know, and the fact that it actually broadens their minds.
It's been so interesting to watch where they came from in terms of being young kids and becoming more and more passionate about teaching and playing. And Joppy does such a fantastic job. You know, we've got a couple of violas who are now studying in Europe, and they went through his hands. You know, he taught them for a while, and then it was a guy from Europe said, listen, these guys are actually quite good. Why don't they come? And by the way, who teaches them? It's Joppy, you know.
I love teaching. You know, the funny part is I studied engineering first when I was in school. So I thought I wanted to be an engineer, electrical engineer anyways. So when I started loving all of this, having exposed to different orchestras, you know, having to play in different places, that's when the love, the real feeling of music came to me.
I think because Gift has he has a little girl, and I think that he is fantastic with the little kids. He's so gentle with them, you know, they all adore him, you know. I'm sure you noticed when we went to Paris, they all surround him and hug him, and you know, he's a real father to them.
I started playing the instrument, I think about 1999, so it's been quite a while, I think since grade 4. So it's been a while, and then after matric, I got a bursary to study music, but then I'm sort of like a dropout in a way, yeah, because then I had an opportunity to sort of give back to the community what I learned, and then I sort of just grabbed that opportunity. It's really been an interesting journey, because through the years, I would say maybe we learned some of the things in school or with us as growing up, but it's very interesting with their young minds, what they discover on their own, and you're just there just to guide them, and you also learn from them, because some of the things you couldn't do, but because of them, you also learn. Like even if I teach, when most of them progress, then that also pushes me to also keep my socks up. I have to practice every day so that I can keep up, because if you don't practice, then you're also sending that message to them. So it's very interesting how everything works. We would say we teach them, but it's like a win-win situation because they teach us back.
They all started pretty much within the same time period. You know, we always speak about Cholafela, and then the question is which one. You know, and we say the tall one or the short one. So I think the two of them started at about the same time. You know, the short one, Cholafela Tsikari, she's really driven. She works very hard and she practices a lot, and she takes a lot of initiative for her own professional development. And she was always, I don't want to say so serious, but I'd say more driven. You know, from an early age, it was obvious.
I started teaching in 2010. I've been playing for the program since I've been doing grade 3. It started with Jebelo Primary School. I was in grade 3 during my 4th term. That's when Peter Guy came to the primary school and enrolled us for the violin program. The teaching part has been amazing because I see myself in the students that I teach today. I see bits and pieces of what I've went through when I started with the program. And with the performing part, it's just been an awesome experience for me because I've been playing for professional orchestras as well, here in SA and abroad as well.
The tall one, always made the most beautiful sound, but I don't think she liked to practice. But she plays nice, she plays fine, but such a beautiful sound.
After high school, I was like, okay, I had no idea for a grades. So like, Mr. Guy was like, no, if you're not sure what you're going to do after matric, you can just come to the program and then we have something for you just for a year, and then after that, you can just decide. Okay, I'm like, okay, cool, sharp, let's give it a try, because then gave it a try. I don't want to lie, like, me teaching Wanakawa Billy, I had no idea for guitar. Like, I took things I was like, okay, now I remember I have to do this. So I was trying it out. But a few months later, because usually what happens is there are people that comes like maybe Europe or somewhere, they come and give like lessons, teaching lessons, master classes and whatnot, and we attend such things, and then you learn a lot from that, and then you take that away to someone. Somehow I would say I wanted to give Banababa what I also got, because not everyone from the community never spoke violin. We grew up knowing violin is makhuwa, honestly, So I was like, oh, okay, let me try this thing out, because I learned this thing and it gets a little opportunities in my life. But let me just pass it on to the younger generation.
I actually started teaching in 2008, right after high school. I was studying part-time and on weekends, actually. So during the week I would teach. And then, but I left the program 2008 for a couple of years. So I actually came back last year. It's not easy being a teacher. Because as a teacher, okopana bana ba batlhagang from different backgrounds, and sometimes ngwana o tla having not practiced, and then you sometimes even scared to yell at the child. You don't know, because sometimes bana, like I said, they come from different backgrounds. She's being yelled, he or she's being yelled at the whole day at home or at school, and then you come away now with that, you add more tension on the child, and sometimes it causes the child not to progress. But the biggest lesson that I have learned is patience. It's patience. You need to have patience with the kids, dedication, the love of kids itself.
We repair bows. We do all the loose things, like we fix stands. And Mr. Guy give us big jobs like fixing violins. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, we fixed a double bass, we repaired the double bass. And we did two cellos. And today we did a violin. Yeah, and that's how this was actually an arrangement to pay off my double bass. Mr. Guy is the one who showed us how to fix violins and all that, but the double bass and the cello, we learn ourselves. We made our own, we struggled, man, but we got through it.
I've been working here 2 months now. Mr. Guy gave me a big opportunity because I thought about it and wanted to learn a new skill. So basically, this presented itself as a big opportunity for me. I unfortunately do not play any string instruments, but I do play the saxophone.
We take normally 15 minutes a bow, depending on the bow size or the bows, on what condition the bow is in. Normally we repair used bows and we attach new hair onto them. As you can see there, the bass bows, we use black hair, which is thicker and which is strong. And then for the violin and the cello bows, we use the white hair. the whitehead to do that. And we use, okay, all the tools we have here, we use to fix the bows and to fix the violins as well.
When I first spoke to her, she had this idea that music might save the town. That somehow, you know, it was going to bring people together and the school would succeed because of music. And she has somehow made it so popular to play the violin, and she encourages the kids, and she will practice with them, and she takes them places they play in Paris or Potchefstroom or wherever as a school group. Look, they're still very young, but if I said, I have to ask myself, has it only been, 18 months they've been playing, It's unheard of to play that well for so many of them. It's not like there's one star, there's quite a few kids who really do so nice.
When the children started, they were so shy, they didn't even speak to the tutors. I was looking at these kids and the way that they were taught, and I thought, I'm not sure whether these people know what they're doing, because they are teaching in a totally different way than I was taught how to teach a child at university. But after a few months, I saw the magic success of the method, and Peter told me that they have developed a method that works for them. The tutors are all the children who came through the program. They were all once small little tiny Nyana children who started playing the violin, just doing pizzicato at first. They have to play a certain tune before they will get a bow. That's like an award. If they can play that few notes pizzicato, it's a phrase or two, then they get a bow, and that's a huge day in their lives. So, of course, since I'm a music person, since I studied music, I took great interest in the program, and maybe that is why my kids do so well, because I encourage them, and I will make everything stop at school as long as the music goes on. We do soccer, we do netball, we've got wonderful athletes, but the music for me is the main thing, because I see how it changes the children's lives. I've got violin players, of course, and then one viola player. And I've got cellists, 4 cellists, and the cellists are amazing. There are 4 girls and they play so beautifully. I hope you will still hear them. And my double bass player is also an amazing chap. He started long after the other kids. The kids all started in April of 2015. But this guy started in 2016, and within 6 months, he exceeded what they've done. He is just amazing. He's extremely talented. This is something I would love to tell you. Peter, when he saw this child is really doing well, he took a double bass to the township, to his house in the township, so that he has an instrument to practice there. And he has another double bass here at school. Because a double bass is a little very cumbersome. You cannot travel on a taxi or walk with it. It's too heavy. And just to give you an idea, a typical price for a moderately good double bass, not a very good one, is around 100,000 rand. So that is the amount of money that Peter trusts the children with, and they know that.
The principal asked us in the school hall who are interested in playing violin. Then I wasn't interested. I just said, yeah, violin, whatever. I don't care about it. Some people who are interested will try, but I'm good with it. Because usually, I'm an athlete, so I do sports. Then I said I can't do 2 stuff at the same time. So I saw my friends playing the violin. Then I told them that I want to be better than them at violin. Then they told me, nah, you'll never be better than us. Violin is not for you. Then okay, I told them, okay. Then I asked my aunt if I could play the violin. Then she said violin is for white people. Then I said, oh yeah, okay. Then I didn't play it. Then 2016, I asked my dad to play the violin. Then he said, are you sure? Well, firstly, I went to speak to the principal. She told me that tomorrow I must come with the money. I must come and pay. Then I told my dad about it. Then he gave me money. I came to pay. Then I played violin for 2 months. Then in April, I started with the double bass. I started with the double bass. Now I think I have about 11 months playing the double bass. It took me only a week to adapt to the violin, because it depends on how much are you willing to know the violin. Because some people just take the violin, they say, okay, I want to join the violin, then they just take the violin, put it in the room. Okay, I play the violin, I'm a violin child, I'm a violinist. But no, you must practice. Make yourself some time to practice, but not only practice and also school stuff. But what I did is, when I got home every day, I focused. I just did my homeworks first, then I practiced. I would practice every day for 4 hours at least.
I started last year on November 2015. That's when I started the violin. Then on 2016 February, I started with my lessons, and then March I was in the orchestra. And then I think June I was in the seniors orchestra here at school. The thing that makes me good is that I love it because I practice every day. But I'm practicing a very little bit. It's a short time that I'm practicing.
Ha ne qala o fihla violin mo Chris van Neck Kerke. Ha e kenela ha ne fihla. Ka go ikenetse ka term 2. A bona hore na e jwang hobane ona sa itsebile. So itse ha bona hore ke ntho jwang ke ha a njwetsa hore o batla go ikenela. Ka dumela be ke mjwetsa fela hore e ska affecta mosebetsi wa hae wa sekolo. O lamba palla kabelo ya ka e ntle. A bapala eng le mangwane mpulele. Ke tsona tse ke la utlwa di bapala.
I want to travel the world with this instrument. I want to become a professional. I want to become the professional. I want to see myself in the high standard with this violin.
Ten of us that have been in the program. 5 of us were in KZNPO in Durban. 2 are in London. 1 is in Germany. We are all over the world, and when we come together, we share our experience with each other. 1 is in New York, doing very well, you know. When we get together, we start interacting with each other. Obviously, whatever kind of attitude and grooming you got from there, you're going to start rubbing it on us, and we're going to love it. When we split, we go to our different work sections, and we also rub that on the kids.
There's one girl, if I say she was mad, everybody will hopefully understand the right context. She practiced so hard. That's such a wonderful story. Her name's Rafilwe Oliphant. Right now she has a professional job playing in that KwaZulu-Natal Philharmonic. She's in the first violin section. She's a really fine player. And it's such a nice story. So once she was raised by the grandfather. And so one day the grandfather tells me, listen, you must come take the violin. You know, it's not going to work out. The kid, he's not going to allow the kid to play the violin anymore. So I go to see him and I say, but why? This girl's fantastic. She's an extremely special child. He says, no, he can't take it. He says, this kid is practicing morning, noon, and night. Whenever he wants to sleep, the kid's over there playing this violin, he just can't take it. So we came to this agreement that when he wanted to sleep, he would take the violin, lock it in his cupboard, take the key with him. So Refiloe kept going, and I mean, really, she's probably the finest violinist that came out of this program. And no one looks at her and says, oh, well, that's pretty good for a child from the townships. I mean, she's just one of the best young violinists in the country. At some stage, it's so difficult to sort of combine being a music teacher with almost being a father figure, a parent, a place of safety for the kids. And we had one girl who was really having a lot of problems, and I sat down next to her and I said, listen, this is a place where you can be safe, you can work out your problems, no one's going to judge you here, but we can't help you if you're not here. And that's, I suppose, I don't want to say the bottom line, but they have to come here. And the transport was there for them, they just had to get on the bus and come. And I think we have a lot of kids like that who do come here, and they're not going to be professional musicians. But I think it gives them a place, I don't want to say escape, place of safety. I think a lot of these kids, especially the earlier ones like the Cholos and Joppy and Gift and Dineo, this was not something where they had a family support, that their grandmother played the violin and the mother played the piano, and so now they're gonna play. They were in America we'd say trailblazers. They're the ones who went before everybody else, before it was popular, and no one else was doing it, and they had such a hunger for it that they made it happen regardless if their family supported them.
When we started, we couldn't do the things that the other kids did. If they would participate in sports, for us to progress in our instruments, then we couldn't go to sports. Then every day it would be practice every day. And we enjoyed it because when we progressed, then we started developing, not just in playing, but also in hearing and self-discipline. So when we went to churches, let's say we went to a church to just play something, and then when people just start singing a hymn, we would sort of hum with them and figure out the notes, and then we would know the hymn, write it down, play it. So that development, that also developed the love for the instrument.
I think that's, well, I heard the most wonderful story, but I mean, it's not about music. It was Herschel Gibbs. They were interviewing him, and they said, look, you're a colored guy. What's a colored guy doing playing a white man's game, And he said, well, actually his grandfather was the groundskeeper at Newlands or something, and then this uncle was played on the B side of whatever the apartheid teams were, and this one actually was umpire. And so he said, actually my whole family's been playing cricket, so it's only normal that I play cricket. And I hope that one day this is what people will say. They'll say, but why, you a black kid, why are you playing the violin? And I hope they say, oh, this is actually my granny's, My granny played violin, and then my mother used it, so now I'm using it. So I really hope it becomes a normal thing.